Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage Season 2 has officially entered its winter hiatus, and while that phrase can sound alarming to some viewers, the reality is far less dramatic and far more strategic than it might seem at first glance. This pause isn't a sign of trouble, nor is it an indication that the show is losing momentum. In fact, the winter hiatus is a carefully planned part of how network sitcoms like this one are structured, and in many ways, it signals confidence rather than concern. By the time Season 2 paused, the show had already done what it needed to do for the fall run. It established the emotional rhythm of Georgie and Mandy's marriage, reinforced the pressures they're facing as young parents, and continued carving out its own identity separate from its predecessor shows. The hiatus arrives not because the story stalled, but because it reached a natural resting point, one that allows both the audience and the narrative to breathe. Winter hiatuses are a long-standing tradition in network television, especially for comedies airing on major broadcasters like CBS. The holiday season disrupts normal viewing habits. Families travel, routines change, and live ratings dip. Rather than airing important episodes during a time when fewer people are watching, networks choose to pause, preserving new episodes for a window when audiences are more likely to tune in consistently. For Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage, that pause helps protect the show's momentum rather than dilute it. What makes this hiatus feel more noticeable is how invested viewers have become in Season 2's quieter, more character-driven storytelling. The show doesn't rely on big cliffhangers or shock moments. Instead, it builds tension through small, accumulating pressures, money worries, parenting disagreements, emotional misalignment. When a show operates at that level, even a brief absence can feel significant because the audience is emotionally engaged rather than just plot-driven. Season 2 has also been doing something important behind the scenes, redefining expectations. Rather than rushing Georgie and Mandy toward explosive conflict, the show has leaned into realism. Their marriage doesn't crack all at once, it strains. That approach makes the winter break feel like a pause in real life rather than a dramatic interruption. It's less to be continued, and more life will resume soon. Another reason the hiatus matters is scheduling stability. When the show returns from winter break, it's expected to enter a more consistent run of episodes. That consistency is crucial. Viewers are far more likely to stick with the show when it airs weekly, without frequent interruptions. By spacing out episodes now, CBS ensures that the back half of Season 2 can unfold without constantly stopping and starting. From a storytelling perspective, the hiatus also functions as a reset button. The first half of the season laid groundwork, establishing dynamics, recurring tensions, and emotional fault lines. The second half is where those elements typically deepen. Conflicts introduced earlier don't disappear, they evolve. The break gives writers room to recalibrate pacing, sharpen character arcs, and make sure the next stretch of episodes feels intentional rather than rushed. It's also worth noting that Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage occupies a unique tonal space. It's lighter than prestige dramas but more emotionally grounded than traditional multicam sitcoms. That balance requires careful rhythm. Too many episodes back-to-back could flatten the emotional beats. A hiatus helps preserve contrast, making the return episodes feel fresh instead of repetitive. For fans, the winter hiatus can feel like lost time, but it often enhances anticipation. Absence sharpens attention. When the show returns, viewers are more likely to notice changes, subtle shifts in Georgie's maturity, Mandy's patience, or how they navigate their shared responsibilities. Those changes matter more when there's been space to reflect on where they started. There's also a practical production angle. Television schedules aren't just about storytelling, they're about logistics. Editing, post-production, promotion, and future episode planning all benefit from built-in pauses. A winter hiatus ensures that quality stays consistent across the entire season instead of dropping in later episodes due to rushed timelines. Importantly, the hiatus does not mean the show is losing support from the network. On the contrary, shows that networks are uncertain about often burn through episodes quickly or get shuffled around the schedule. A planned winter hiatus suggests CBS sees Georgie and Mandy's First Marriage as a stable part of its lineup, worth spacing out and protecting. When Season 2 resumes, it won't just be business as usual. Mid-season returns often come with subtle tonal shifts. Characters tend to face the consequences of earlier choices more directly. Conversations that were avoided start happening. Emotional compromises become harder to maintain. The groundwork has already been laid. The hiatus simply delays the payoff. Until then, the pause gives viewers a chance to rewatch earlier episodes and notice details that might have slipped by the first time. Small moments of miscommunication, quiet gestures of support, or early warning signs of future conflict. Those details tend to gain weight once the season continues. So while it's always frustrating to hear that a show you enjoy is on break, Georgie and Mandy's first marriage entering its winter hiatus is not bad news. It's a normal, intentional pause designed to make the rest of Season 2 stronger, more cohesive, and more impactful. The story isn't stopping, it's regrouping. And when it returns, it'll do so with purpose, not panic.